So, good morning, everybody. Today marks 250 days, or I'm sorry, excuse me, as I stand, 243 days since our first case on March 13th. We're 35 weeks into this. This Friday will be 7 months, believe it or not, and I don't know where the time's gone. But we're still here in the world that we have to reimagine what it's going to look like in the workforce and everything else. So, but sadly, again, we reported yesterday, we lost another Albany County resident, a woman in her 60s. To the COVID-19. So my condolences and prayers go out to the family and to all the families. So it makes it tough to the other 143 families. Again, it's a tough time to go through losing a loved one, especially in these difficult times that we're in. So I reported yesterday, now that we have lost 144 people, the direction that we're starting to go into. We talked a little bit on Saturday, the peak, is it here again? Are we going back down that path? It's the second wave here, because from everything that we've been indicated to Dr. Whalen and myself through all the different channels, we're more or less looking at January, February, for a tough time where our numbers would start spiking up. It seems now they're spiking up now, and the one thing we've identified is if you look at Italy and overseas, we're kind of like 10 weeks behind them. So when something happens there, it slowly starts to come here. And the reality is that it's here, I mean, the numbers are just the numbers, but they are alarming. Today we have 3,950 positive cases of COVID-19. 1,389 people under mandatory quarantine, and we have an increase last night of 39 positive cases. Just to put it in the right set of mind, since November 1st, we've had 335 new positive cases since November 1st, which is pretty alarming. Of the new positives for today, we also know 18 had close contact with positive cases, 3 were healthcare workers, and 2 people had reported traveling. 16 don't have a clear source. I've said this on Saturday, and we keep saying this. And I know it's a question we continue to get on Facebook. When we don't get a clear source, it just means either A, maybe the person wasn't around anyone, or B, they're just lying to us and they're not telling us who they're around because they don't want their friends to be quarantined, or if they're at a restaurant. Like I've said this, and I'll say it again, it only helps us stop this spread if you're honest with us. We're not going to put you in jail. We're not going to fine you. We're not turning you into anyone. It just helps us do our job to stop the spread. So please, if you're out there and you didn't do the right thing or you got exposed, you got to let us know who you're around. So 17,764 people have now completed quarantine. 3,600 tested positive for the virus have recovered, increase of 5 since yesterday. And the other big alarming thing is there's now 32 people currently hospitalized with a hospitalization rate of 0.81% of those who tested positive. Yesterday it was 0.79%, and we're just shy of the 33 residents who were hospitalized back on May 26th. If you think about it that way, we're just shy of where we were back in May. And that's one thing in the control rooms we continue to look at is the hospitalization, ventilator beds, that type of stuff. We're seeing people stay in the hospital longer than they did before for different reasons, and we're still trying to figure that out. And, as you see what's going around the state, they're not talking about shutting down, but they're doing yellow zones, red zones, trying to keep it in that cluster. I've talked to business owners over the weekend when I was out. They're worried because the ones I talked to said if we shut down again, they're not opening. They go, I don't even know if I can stay open through the winter, let alone if we shut down. And I go, it looks like the way we handled it in Orange County and other counties is that they're doing it in zones, and if you're in a red zone, then you got restrictive hours and a variety of different things. I brought up about what's going on in Boston, Mass, because they're really starting to close down. Businesses close at 9. You got to have a mask 24/7 out in public, whether you're with somebody or by yourself. Now you're mandatory to wear a mask. So you might see more restrictions like that coming out through Governor Cuomo's initiatives to keep the curve down. But as long as the hospitalization rate in the Capital District stays where it's at, we should be okay going forward. But again, with these alarming numbers, probably things are going to change. Over the last 5 days, there's been an average of 50 new positive cases each day. Yesterday, it was 48.4. Our numbers are going up in every category. We need everyone to continue to take this serious. I know everyone has COVID-19 fatigue. Everyone's tired. I'm tired. You know, I know people are tired. They're tired of wearing the mask. They're tired of staying away. And, you know, everyone wants to get together this Thanksgiving. And I'm like, take the guidance that Governor Cuomo told us. You know, do it via Zoom. 2020, I think Al Roker said it best. Here's the 2020 going away, you know, and that's the same thing. You know, we'll get through this. It's something to laugh about down the road, way down the road, to sit back and smile and say we got through all this together in a partnership, working together, unity together. We can do this. We can do this, but we have to stay strong. We have to stay vigilant. So we learned over the weekend that UAlbany is going completely remote until February. There will be kids on campus, but they will not be going to the classroom. So they'll be doing everything remotely. Chancellor Malatras we talked to, he's doing a great job. And as everyone knows, all the kids at SUNYs will be tested before they come home when school's over with, before Thanksgiving. Actually, Mayor Sheen brought up a great question on Saturday when we were talking at our press conference, what about private schools? So we're trying to get the guidance on that. If private schools are going to do the same thing as the SUNYs are doing and making sure all kids are tested before they come home. You know, we need people to continue to socially distance, wear your mask, cough into your arm, wash your hands, and stay 6 feet apart. It's tough. I was joking around. I said, my family, I'm the huggy one. I'm always hugging everyone. Now they're probably happy as hell that I have to stay away from all of them, you know. But you get the people that don't like that. They like the social distancing. They don't like anyone in their space. But again, it's taking its toll on us mentally. And it's hard. And that's why I say to everyone has different stress levels. And it really is affecting us. And, you know, I mean, unfortunately, our suicide rates are going up. Drug relapses are going up. People are going back to drinking. You know, it's having that different effect on us because people, again, it's hard to reimagine. When you know, you're home for 4 months doing the right thing, curving this thing, and you come out and the world's different. You know, it's tough for everyone. It's tough for parents. Now they're teachers, not just parents. Your parents teaching your kids every day and then trying to keep your kids safe and not socially distance and having sleepovers and get-togethers. It's tough. It's tough. So, you know, again, we have to do this together. There's things we're looking at. Look at basketball, still not sanctioned. We are looking into Cohoes. The new community center had a huge tournament over the weekend. It was on Instagram. People, if you put it on Instagram and Facebook, we're going to see it. But you're not helping us. The crowd that was there, it's not basketball drills you were having. You can't play basketball. Period. You can't do this stuff. Because this is what's keeping it going with the travel basketball and the other things. And the last thing I want to do, and I will say this for Sheriff Apple, is to go find businesses and go find people. We know you're trying to get back on your foundation. The last thing I want to do is go in and hurt you more. But if you're not going to do the right thing, what am I supposed to do as this continues to grow? So please, please continue to be vigilant and do the right stuff. And we'll get through this, but we're not going to get through it if you continue to do sporting events and travel around the county and travel around the state and the country for these tournaments. I don't know what more to say. Yes, parents, you can be mad at me. I'm going to say it. I don't want to call you out. I don't want to call these tournaments out. And I know that the people are just trying to have people come together. But the reality is it's hurting us. And it's going to hurt small businesses, which we'll get into. It's going to hurt small businesses going forward, trying to survive if we have to shut down again to whatever degree that may be that the governor decides. So there's plenty of places to go and get tested. I want to say that, you know, our great partnership with Whitney Young, you know, we established if you don't have insurance, we pay for it. UAlbany, you don't have to pay. You know, so if you go through UAlbany, you've never had to pay. They don't even ask you for insurance. But as you know, there's a lot of testing available going on. You can go to our website for the complete listing. But for free testing sites, University of Albany, schedule an appointment by calling 1-888-364-3065. Whitney Young mobile testing sites also have testing available for kids. And you can go there to make an appointment or go in person, go online, or call 518-465-4771. one. Other testing sites are CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Albany Med Urgent Cares, Purdy One in Gilliland, Central Med Urgent Care. So the list goes on, and I wish this was like 7 months ago when we were trying to establish all this, but it's good. It's a foot in the right direction, and you're going to see us go and continue to keep the testing, being aggressive, so we can stop the spread and make sure that people are doing the right thing. So I'm going to end that part of the press conference. I'm going to continue on, but I will take questions from the press at the end of all this, which is important, and is why I am joined here by Chairman Andrew Joyce, County Legislator Matt Peters, and County Legislator Wanda Willingham, and Kevin, is really to talk about what we've identified in the beginning of this. And actually, we were working on it beforehand for last year, and it kind of worked out in our favor with the COVID-19. One of the things I kept saying in the beginning, it's just not a health crisis we're dealing with an economy crisis. I watched it in 08, 09, and that was just a little pebble in the pond back then. This is going to have a huge ripple, and people, I want you to wake up, because 2021's going to be bad, but 2022 is going to be worse, because you can't shut down the economy for 4 months, reopen it, not have jobs back, not having restaurant workers fully back, and not expect things to happen going forward. So working together with the Des Association since April to set this up, we all came together with business owners around the Albany County and decided how we're going to do this to go forward. And again, you can't do it without a partnership. And I do want to thank Chairman Joyce and everyone that's been involved with this, Dennis Feeney, Frank Marinello, everyone, Bill Clay from the Black Caucus, all the legislators that are involved. Because again, we have to come together, and we can't point fingers, and we have to figure out how we can help small businesses going forward. So when I asked our Economic Development Director, Kevin O'Connell, to lead a working group of the local businesses, which he did, and I can't thank you enough, believe it or not, we were just trying to make sure we heard from every business, big, medium, and small. And the only way we're going to make effective changes going forward is hearing from everyone. And for a change, government to shut the hell up and let them talk, let the business owners talk, and tell us how we can help them. And I've always said this, you can't be afraid not to have all the answers. You can't be afraid. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you I know everything, because I don't. But I rely on my partnerships, like with the legislature and economic development and the Des Moines Association and the business leaders that we met with to get this done. So today I'm proud to announce, pending final approval tonight from the Albany County Legislature, we're launching this LDC, the Advance Albany County Alliance. The Alliance will lead the coordination efforts to build back from COVID-19, supporting small businesses, and that's what we talked about. And if you saw these businesses loans for the PPE and everything put out there, you know who suffered when I read that list? The small businesses. Who suffered? And so the conversations I've had with Wanda Willingham, I've had with Andrew, Gary Demolowitz, I could just go on to every legislator talking about the same thing representing their districts. Talked to Carolyn McLaughlin yesterday after service yesterday about the small businesses, because they're the ones that didn't get the loans, because again, they have issues writing out the applications, or they just don't know how to do it. They're not a big enough entity to know how to go in and write to get assistance to get them through this, be it the payroll protection or the PPE, all that good stuff, and Kevin could get into that. It bothered me, because when you went through that list, you saw attorneys, you saw people that really probably could get away with not needing that money. But all small mom and pop stores along Central Avenue, downtown Albany, around this county, didn't get a penny. Didn't get a penny. So I do want to thank again, and I'm going to continue to say, Chairman Joyce, Majority Leader Feeney, Bill Clay, Chairman of the Legislature, Black Caucus, Wanda, Matt Peters, everybody, because we noticed one thing. We got to help small businesses, and we have to do it to go forward, and we need to put the resources behind it. So it will happen tonight. And I'll let Andrew talk about that when we get to that, if it goes to the legislature, and I don't want to predict, but everyone's on board. It's something that was a joint effort to make sure this happens, to go forward. So you know what? Enough of me. I'd like to turn it over to Chairman Joyce to say some time.
Thank you, Dan. And again, I want to commend you and your staff for doing an amazing job as we kind of see our way through this next phase of the pandemic. And the county executive often talks about partnerships and unity, and I want people to know that I think we're putting politics aside in Albany County. We put politics aside for a long time as we kind of see our way through this crisis. We all face a common enemy with COVID-19 and the challenges that are associated with COVID-19, and we need to work together to rise to the occasion and see our way through it. And it's about rolling up our sleeves, and I think this is what we were sent here to do. Not knowing it at the time, of course, but this is an unprecedented crisis. It's a bit of a cliche at this point saying that, but it is what it is. And so one of the questions that we face in the legislature and as elected officials is, okay, we're meeting this challenge, we're seeing our way through the pandemic, but what are we doing to set ourselves up for success 2, 3, 5 years down the road? What are we doing? Not only to meet the problems that we face right now, but how are we seeing Albany County through this crisis now? And the big light bulb that went off in my mind early on was economic development and bringing jobs to Albany County, bringing businesses to Albany County, making Albany County open to business. And in the legislature, we saw a very active, able, talented partner in Kevin O'Connor early on when we appointed him to the position of economic development. He's done amazing work already, along with the county executive staff. He's got contacts that spanned decades in Albany County, which is also going to set us up for success. So we want to work with the right people at the right moment and the right time. So tonight the Albany County Legislature is considering again, I want to thank my partners in the legislature as well. We're considering moving resources to get our Advanced Albany County Alliance set up and ready for success. That will go to our Audit and Finance Committee tonight for further discussion. But again, it's incredible work that's being done right now, and it's about setting Albany County up for success, bringing business to Albany County, and bringing jobs to Albany County. Whether you're talking about a pandemic or any of the issues you see in Albany County or in the city right now with violence and all the after effects of the pandemic and everything that's going on, I think one of the mitigation efforts that we have is jobs. People need jobs, people need to work, and I think that's part of the duets that we have here with what we're trying to do. So also in the legislature, what we wanted to do at the height of this pandemic in the beginning is I like to put people in the right position at the right time, at the right moment, and call them pockets of competency. Great people in the legislature. We get knocked for being a large legislative body, but we have a lot of talent. So at the height of the pandemic, we convened our COVID Economic Recovery Task Force, and I immediately assigned our two most brightest, hardworking members to meet this challenge that we face. Our Deputy Chair, Wanda Willingham, Legislator Matthew Peter, and Albany County Legislator Jeff Purley, to work alongside with legislative staff, the county exec staff, and our budget analyst, Eric Ford, to come up with some ideas. So alongside with the creation of this LDC and this economic development arm, our COVID Economic Recovery Task Force came up with some ideas to do some of the things that the county executive had mentioned. And that's helping small businesses in Albany County, minority-owned small businesses, businesses that were affected by COVID-19 that don't have the resources they need to get to the next step, to see their way through. Administrative issues, legal issues, all the things the challenges that they face. Our task force came up with some recommendations and some ideas which will be hopefully administrated by our economic development arm to get them the resources they need to see their way through it. And Matthew and Wanda and Jeff did amazing work to get us to this point. And we have a great partner in the county executive and Kevin. And it's a challenge, and it's hard, and it's stressful, but we're rising to the occasion. We're putting politics aside, and we're doing what we're supposed to do to get the county through it. And they're great partners, and I really appreciate the efforts that we're making.
Thank you, Andrew. And again, it can't be done without a partnership and making it happen. So I was going to let you say it, but I'm going to say this. With the partnership with the legislature, they're authorizing $500,000 to set up us for LDC going forward, which will give the foundation for Kevin to work in the future of getting stuff done, and also for the small businesses, roughly $300,000, which he said, Andrew said correctly, and put a lot of good information out there that it is going to be to help small businesses. It's going to be for small businesses, minority-owned businesses. Again, you go to any great corridor in the city of Albany, there's a small little business. and they're suffering, and they don't have the resources and the money set aside to continue to survive like this. So this is a great program. It's one of the things that Mayor Sheen did with Capitalize Albany initially on, and Ashley was talking to her about that over the weekend, about trying to do more in the city and getting more money out there, because again, the more help we can put and the more resources we can put in, we save them going forward. And why is it important? Because it's the fabric of that community to have that little store there. That person's there, people go in for the food, or they go into the little grocery store to pick up items. You become family and friends, and you look forward to seeing each other. And again, it's about the convenience of a neighborhood, because not everyone can get to bigger supermarkets. So we can get this done. But Kevin, would you like to say a few words?
There's really not a whole lot left to add on that. I think you've both said it very well. You know, the key point here is the leadership, and you know, getting everybody on the same page. I can tell you from my personal experience of talking with businesses, and to reiterate what County Executive McCoy said, that there's a tremendous amount of economic dislocation out there, and businesses are not going to survive this if we don't get this pandemic under control. And I think what this provides is almost like a Marshall Plan for recovery after the pandemic. And it's probably stemming from the military backgrounds of both of the gentlemen to my right here. But this is exactly what needs to be done, and it can't happen too soon.
Thank you, Kevin. And again, thank you to Legislator Matt Peters for being here, and Legislator Wanda Willingham, especially Chairman Joyce, and I know Dennis Feeney couldn't make it, but working together, we'll get through this. And again, there'll be times for pointing fingers and yelling at each other down the road, but right now the citizens of this county need us. Capital District need us. They need leadership. They don't need finger pointing, and they need solutions to their problems. And if we don't help them, we're in trouble. They're in trouble. And again, we can get through this by working together, and I'll be more than happy to argue with all of them down the road a year from now when this is over with. I appreciate that. When this is over with, and we're out of this, and we have a vaccine out there, and everyone's healthy, and we're not losing any more county residents, I'll be more than happy to argue with anyone. But right now, we need to roll up our sleeves and do what people put us in office to do, and that's working together in a partnership to get this done.